That music only means one thing. It is time for spooky times.
Guys, it's only September. Wait, what's going on?
But it's fall time.
Yes.
It's time to fall in love with horror again. So, folks, it's a very special CanonFire because we are loaded up on all the mics. It is Adrian, the masterful dude of doodliness, the face that runs the place, the host with the most. I am joined finally in fucking studio. Julio, the fifth dimensional host, Alberto Vidal.
I didn't get lost on my way here. It was pretty cool.
Was that a slight against me one time?
Oh, no. Battle directions. Like
Guilty conscience.
Yeah, it helps when I pick you up. And also, my loyal cohort, the man who's been with me since the first CanonFire, Jim, the man with the plan, Ramos.
Yeah, the broken leg was not in the plan.
Lord knows,
neither
but
was
you
crashing
have
this plane with no survivors.
you plan for everything. And joining us, the wonderful, the American culture critic, Paul Anthony Yosef.
Hello.
I said it right.
Yes.
And I was so worried about saying it wrong.
The stars must be aligning for once.
Anyway, I wanted to ask, because I saw The Nun. It came out Friday. I saw it Thursday. It was pretty
Which
good.
nun did you see?
Yeah.
The one in theaters, the horror movie.
I thought you
Oh.
were making reference to some weird lewd materials that you watch on your internet time. Okay. Tell us about the movie, Adrian.
All right, so I liked it. It's I like the whole Conjuring universe. The only one that I didn't like was Annabelle 1. But I'm personally a fan of horror. I love the mythology of horror, certain types of horror. I don't like torture porn or gore, like unnecessary gore, unless it tells a story and things of that nature. But I personally liked it. I give it a good 8.5 out of 10. I did scream like a little bitch a lot. So
You scream like that in every horror movie, horror video game, horror.
It doesn't even have to be horror. He screams like a little bitch.
not all horror. Only good ones where it involves ghosts or demons, because that genuinely
Yeah, that
terrifies
shit
me.
freaks everyone out.
Yeah. But anyway,
I've never met a ghost I didn't like.
would you guys? Whoa.
You're talking about like weird past relationships right now?
But since we have an actual film critic in studio, I wanted to ask this.
Hey.
How do you feel about horror? How do you feel about the genre of horror or thriller? What do you feel about it?
In what sense?
Do you enjoy them?
It depends on how well made they are. Horror is like, well, not horror is like, horror is a storytelling genre. Has its certain elements, but if those elements are well presented and if the story hooks you, then for me it falls in the same category as practically any other type of, whoa, I didn't realize it was that sort of film.
Sometimes, Paul, when you're talking to the mic, it helps that you're close.
As a general rule.
I'm sorry, I'm just not that well versed or practiced with a big thing like that in front of my face like this. So.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll
Right.
show you the world.
Yes, you're still young.
Shining, shimmering splendor.
Can I get a rag with that?
Does it smell like chloroform to you? Anyway.
So anyway,
Because the reason why I ask you, if I may interrupt your answer, is that and there's like cinema snobs out there that feel horror isn't cinema. Horror, for lack of horror, is just it's dumbed down for the simple-minded. It's not as well versed as a good comedy or well versed as a good drama. There's like, I remember back when the slasher genre took off, and you had the Halloweens, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Friday the 13th, and so on.
Phantasm.
They blew up in popularity, but all the critics hated them because they compared them to schlock, and it was like essentially porn. It wasn't good for anything. It was worthless. I wanted to ask like your opinion on that.
tell that to Stephen King, who gets that from a literary standpoint. He's had his own detractors and snobs who have called his work dreadful, yet look at how long it survived. And here we're talking about an individual who knew his stuff. He was a teacher at one point before he turned to full-time writing. And he knew all the elements that made for what would be considered the great American novel. And he infuses that in all of his works.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, they stand up to any other literary giant in terms of execution, themes, what have you. As far as horror is concerned, anything that works is going to have its slew of imitators with lesser quality going down the line. But we still remember Halloween. We still remember Friday the 13th. We still remember the Amityville Horror. Those were films that were well put together. Mm-hmm. Those were films that, in their own way, were art forms.
I mean, you could also make the argument about the Vincent Price old movie.
Exactly. The Pit and the Pendulum.
Which even back then was considered disposable entertainment. Right. So it's... How do I feel about horror as a genre? It's just as viable as any other.
Thank you. I really appreciate the fact that you're here to say that.
I mean, the whole purpose of cinema is to elicit some kind of response and create some kind of emotion.
That's art. Art
right?
makes
That's
you feel.
art. Exactly. Okay, so in any form, it's still art.
Let me ask you something, Julio.
I actually wanted to ask.
Paul, go ahead.
So, taking all the things that you just said, what do you feel specifically about The Conjuring as a series itself?
I haven't seen The Conjuring, so I really can't comment on that.
Darn.
But I will be sure to watch them within the next week or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first one's on Netflix. I know that one's
so then we can actually have that discussion.
Cool.
That'd be
there
awesome.
You go. Real quick, we were throwing around some pretty famous horror characters and all that. I like to throw in A Nightmare on Elm Street. I thought that was an excellent horror movie.
Okay, well,
the original It as well.
Yeah.
That gave me
are we now saying our favorite horror films? I was actually going to ask that.
Oh, really?
What's your favorite horror
but that's
film?
not my favorite. I just happen to think that was an example of good horror filmmaking.
For me, I'm torn between Halloween and The Exorcist.
See, that's my favorite, The Exorcist. Always loved that film.
The Exorcist forever ruined me.
That movie still freaks me out, man.
That was probably the last time I shit my pants.
Well, before I go into that part of the discussion, I will say I can understand to a degree why some people would say that it's not viable or an art form, because a lot of the performances can be over the top to the point of schlock.
Right. Where it's just hammy for
where
the
it's
sake
just
of
ham for exactly.
Right. Exorcist 2, for example.
No, even Rosemary's Baby had that, and that's considered one of the pinnacles of the genre.
Well, Mia Farrow acted the shit out of the role, in my opinion.
But it all depends on, like any other art form. It depends on the execution of the material.
Right. The same could be said for any other kind of movie.
Because everything is a story. And when we talk about genre, we talk about science fiction. We're talking about the milieu. We're talking about the elements. But they're just elements that overall infuse a story. But it's not the story itself. So sometimes when we pigeonhole it into, well, this is horror and this is a Western or this is a thing, we tend to forget that it's really the story that's hooking us. If I was like Cowboys and Aliens was a good example of a good story, which mixed myriad elements, but because everybody was going, well, is it a cowboy film or is it a Star Wars film? What exactly is this? And they let those prejudices as to what to define it as obfuscate the fact that this is a very unique story being told,
right?
Because of these infusions of the elements, but because the general public said it's got to be one or the other, it failed miserably.
It's the same shortcomings that come with whenever you label anything.
Now,
as far as my favorite, or rather the film that affected me most, as far as a horror film goes, Jim may have heard of it. I know you two haven't. but it was actually an ABC TV movie of the week from 1970. I want to say 74, during the time when the Bermuda Triangle was big, and the whole Satanism thing was really big, and it was called Satan's Triangle.
Oh yes.
So you know this movie,
Yes.
and it's an hour and a half of. Is it Doug McClure? The name, the actor.
I believe it was. Yeah.
Okay, Doug McClure, because sometimes I think about the Simpsons with "Hi, I'm Troy McClure."
You may remember me from such films.
Exactly. But he plays a rescue chopper pilot who finds this yacht stranded in the Bermuda Triangle, and he has to stay there overnight with the last victim of this whole murder spree that took place on the boat. And it's a very slow burn film, but when you get the punchline, it's all in the execution. There's really nothing schlocky about it. There's really nothing, but it's just the pacing, the way everything builds.
Building.
And at the time, the surprise ending, at the time. Today, you could see it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
But back in
But because it was new, you didn't have the experience to expect it.
Exactly. And it stayed with me for years, especially the final image of it and what it portended.
Okay, for me with the whole horror thing, a movie that affected me a lot was probably It. I saw it when I was really young, and I had like a bunch of friends, and I was like,
And you cried like a bitch.
freaking hate clowns. No, I didn't cry. That shit gave me a bunch of nightmares. So that one affected me a lot.
But the Tim Curry, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that Tim Curry shit.
Yeah, because there's just
No contest.
when it comes to the right clown, I have these toys. I'm gonna play with them.
Hey, fine, man.
But a series I actually liked, I guess it's because I was little, was freaking, was it Puppet Master?
Yeah.
Freaking serial killer toys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome. I used to had like a whole deal with my mom where I could sleep early and then watch those late.
That was a good one too. What's the one with Karen Black? That the little statues come to life. What was the name of that? Man.
Oh, great. Now you're going to have to make me
Wait, a
like, dust
horror
off my
movie?
gray cells.
Hey, it was Karen Black was in it. Hey, God, I wish I could remember the name of the film. But,
Thank you.
For derailing the fucking topic.
That's me job. Okay. Obscurity.
Jesus. I don't even remember Karen Black. Was it Cat's Eye?
No.
No.
Man, I God, what was it called?
Where little statues came to life.
Yes.
Was it in the 80s?
It was trilogy of something.
Trilogy?
Trilogy of Terror. Was that it?
Dude, you got... No, I don't...
Wait, was it? It was horror?
Yeah, it was horror, but it was like 3 short stories put together. Hey.
3 short stories put together.
Really? All right.
You're hurting my brain, man.
Then Mission
Someone
Accomplished.
look it up.
It wasn't House of a Thousand Corpses?
No.
I thought that was...
Rob.
Yeah, Rob Zombie.
It was one of those Rob Zombie movies. I still haven't seen a couple of those.
Well, we have the internet in front of us, folks. So I think
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
but you're sure it's Karen Black?
Yes, that I'm definitely sure.
Trilogy of Terror?
Trilogy of Terror. I think
yeah,
that
I
was
think
it.
I think it was. Yeah.
That's how good it was. You don't even remember it.
1975.
Okay. See? Hey. So it's just not my memory. It was a long ass time ago.
So you were right the first time you looked it up just to prove that you were right.
I wasn't right. I
No,
didn't
you
know.
said you mentioned Trilogy of Terror, but
Yeah.
no, you
No, I
mentioned
mentioned
Trilogy
He
of
mentioned
Terror,
it.
and you're like, oh wait.
Yeah, because the filing system just takes time.
I guess no Robert Stack is needed. We already found out the mystery. So you're going with Trilogy of Terror? Why?
No, again,
he-
I just
you just wanted to
mentioned-
remember Karen
Yes,
Black.
It was a good one. He mentioned the one with the puppets come to life.
Puppet Master, yes.
Right, Puppet Master. And that seems to be like a common thing where we're all afraid of inanimate objects suddenly coming to life.
Oh, but you can't leave out Warwick Davis and Leprechaun.
Oh, there you go.
I got that beat. I think
Anybody who's ever had a lawn gnome,
Tales from the Crypt had a great
yeah.
short story with the black slave doll that had like the souls of dead slaves, and this inanimate object comes back to life resurrects the souls of all the slaves to kill this one man who's like the Grand Wizard of KKK. And it was great. It was like a weird vengeance / horror thing, but we're all cheering for the dolls to kill this KKK guy. It's really odd when you're cheering for the inanimate object.
Yeah.
The only other time I can think of is Child's Play, because usually we cheer for Chucky because he has personality and comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at the interesting inversion that takes place. Because we're cheering for that which we presume is what's evil.
Right.
Right.
So that's another hallmark of good horror, in my opinion, is when it forces you, like any other piece of art, it forces you to take a look inside as to your reactions and why you're reacting that way.
Self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me, Jim,
Yes.
what's your favorite horror movie? Because you keep saying horror movies.
Dude, I did when you did. Omen. Hey?
I said Exorcist.
I mean, Exorcist. Omen. Hey?
Wow.
I meant Exorcist. I remember my father taking me to the movie theater to see
Wow.
it. So I saw this, in the big screen. I was maybe, 7 at the time. Hey? And, it scared the bejesus out of me. Hey? It was the only time.
Let Jesus fuck you. Let Jesus fuck you.
Hey, it's the only time I
Language.
remember my father hugging me. 'Cause I think he was a little scared too.
There's stories about that where like that was first screened. There were like people having
fainted and
panic attacks and vomiting and all that. Like it was too much for them. Now, where do you see horror going forward? Next week we have The Predator, which looks to be a comedy almost.
Yeah.
Because Shane Black is going to subvert everyone's expectations.
Exactly.
Just like Iron Man 3
Well, who
again.
better? He was in the original.
Yeah. So he's doing that. And then later on in October, we have our favorite damsel in distress who's not so in distress anymore, Jamie Lee Curtis,
There you go.
coming back to Halloween.
That's gonna be great.
With guns.
Yeah, she's freaking the Punisher right now.
He's not fucking around anymore.
Where she's like, I want to kill Michael Myers, which good luck. We've tried with like 8 movies.
Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor.
Here.
Well, that's a good, like, yeah. I mean, Terminator came after, and Terminator's basically Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, just
with
more
a
techie.
Just with a sci-fi time travel twist. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, Julio.
Yeah.
What's your favorite horror video game?
Horror video game?
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Not. I thought you'd be like saying Evil Within.
Yeah, I think it would be Evil Within 2. I liked it a lot. I think 1 might have been a little scarier. Is that you have Ruvik chasing you all over the place.
Right, and you kind of don't know what's going on, and 2 is just.
But it made it scary because the gameplay controls were bad as well. So
that you.
How do you real life horror then?
it's like, how do you run away from a serial killer if your control doesn't make you run faster than it normally does?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't play anymore.
Wow.
Oh. Go, continue. I was trying to say, how can you say something so controversial yet so brave?
But I think Evil Within 2 is definitely a lot better. It wasn't as scary because a lot of the monsters, you're already like, okay, this game has people that have some sort of psychosis. There's going to be some crazy chick chasing after me that has a crazy fear of fire.
Right.
So it was like, oh, I'm expecting this stuff. But 1, since it was so like fresh and new, like I didn't expect it.
And that girl, as soon as she grabs you, she kills you in 1 hit.
Dang it, Laura. Leave me alone, Laura.
I'm not as new as that. I personally think Silent Hill 3 was like one of the scariest games I've ever played. Because I'm like 12 and it's 1 in the morning and all the lights are off, but the game just has 1 light on the character and you don't know what's going on. And you hear noises in the game, but nothing comes at you. And it's like building tension throughout it. Jim.
Okay. A little bit about my history is that when I was a young guy, I spent a lot of time in hospitals. Right? So the nurses of Silent Hill freaked the fuck out of me.
And Paul.
Donkey Kong. listening to Slow Jams with CanonFire.
That is the best jazz you'll ever hear. Just saying.
So, wait a minute. Who's that I hear?
What? Oh, no, this mystery cameo voice. Are we talking about Superman Returns yet? That's what I remember.
Wow, I have 3 co-hosts in the room.
That's right. This is the newest member of the team.
Oh, I'm so honored. Oh, the green.
Officially. Hey,
It's another J. I'm
Another
surrounded
J.
by J's.
Yes, we're the J
Thank
squad.
you, Paul, for being not a J.
Thank you for being a giant P.
Did I tell you my full name is J. Paul Yosas?
No! No!
hey, we're stuck in a rut.
Next person you have to hire has to be an L. I literally
hell.
really want to
It was
pass
the most
an L.
horrible thing I could think of.
Middle name's L. Can I switch out?
No!
Lord Hernandez?
Lord.
Hey, if I could change my name.
Was that large, Fernandez? What? Hey, we
He's
don't wanna hear
large
about
and in
your
charge.
previous profession, okay?
So we're having a discussion right now, and I think you probably would want to get in on this. All of you guys would. Paul,
It's
are
us versus
video
Paul.
games art?
That's a loaded question.
yes, that's what we do here.
Loaded question.
Well, is any piece of medium or media that someone puts together with a team, does that not...
Now, hold on. Roger Ebert once said video games can never be art.
Okay, and Roger Ebert has never been wrong before in the past, has he? I'm just saying, like, he's a great
It'd also be
critic.
great if you talked into the mic.
Well, I don't have a mic, and I don't want to be like, hey, guys,
Just get in.
Just sit on his lap, bro.
Don't you dare me. But at the same time, like, Roger Ebert, he's, that was, and see, look at him, this is actually sensible. Oh. Yeah, so the whole thing with Roger Ebert, the audience has no
Don't
idea.
be a Paul.
You guys are missing
Well, I
out some
have
great
nothing else to say
visuals here.
besides Video games, I mean, if you're asking me, in my opinion on that, it's any piece of medium that you put together as a team that your focus is to influence someone or make someone feel something. Is that not the purpose of art? I don't...
Julio, you?
As long as there's emotion, everything can be considered an art piece.
Right?
If I throw my shit at a wall angrily,
Yes, there you go.
it's artistic.
That's modern art.
That's modern art. Exactly.
Hey, I agree with that.
That'll sell for like $2 million in New
if I could
York.
sell you this square that I drew when I was angry for $500,000,
But how did that shit make you feel?
fucking angry at the world. 'Cause the world's a shitty place, so I threw it at the
Classic.
wall
Instant
angrily.
All right, Jim.
All right. I mean, I'm an artist, you know that. So, like, anything that's a creative endeavor is art. Right? And since that horror film was put together from the thoughts of individuals and was it a creative effort, of course it's fucking art.
All right, but the topic was
Video games.
Oh,
Because-
well,
By that logic,
yes, but the answer is actually still the same. Right? It's a creative endeavor.
so the prequels, they're just the best art piece in the world, right?
Okay?
the Star Wars prequels.
They're art, right? Because by that logic, they have
We don't
right?
talk about those types of things here.
Hey, hey, I didn't say it was good
Phantom
art.
Menace is better than the Last Jedi.
Hey, it's art. It makes you angry.
That's true.
Exactly.
Oh,
It
hey,
makes
that's
you
actually a really good
angry.
point.
Revenge of the
is
Sith was better
art.
than The Last Jedi.
Well,
Yes, I went there.
okay.
And I'll hold on to it.
I'm firmly don't think any of the prequels are better than anything out here.
If you guys need to find where Paul's email is.
It's Adrian Myquez.
You get out.
Or just find me at AmericanDulceCritic.com. Anything for a free plug, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
So, Paul, we've all gotten everyone's opinion. You're surrounded with spears and knives.
Except yours.
And dagger.
I shall be the dissenting opinion and say, yes, it's an art form.
Oh. That did not go
should've-
anywhere near.
You should have seen
yes.
their faces.
Try not to overload us with detail.
No.
I sent you that article, that talk piece that Ebert wrote. And you don't play video games, so I wanted to see what someone who doesn't play video games has to say what Ebert said, which was now 8 years ago. It's old news, but when do we get somebody on this show that doesn't play video games?
Well, here's the thing. Someone who doesn't play video games really shouldn't be commenting about whether or not video games are an art form.
Well, so that's an Ebert's corpse.
Well, thank you.
If you can find it.
That would go back to the horror genre
No,
again,
but
wouldn't it?
no. Well,
I'm gonna need
I mean,
a
I
Ouija
read-
board.
But
I read said article, and I saw a lot of where he was coming from, but his points basically boiled down to it's a commercial product. It's a commercial product that has a specified goal, a specified aim, which is to entertain to you till you get to the finish, the end game, the
Payoff.
Highlander.
yeah.
A resolution.
Exactly. That it's basically geared to that. So the focus is going to be on that. So where's the artistry in that when it's just such a singular-minded objective to be obtained?
Because fear is such a basic emotion and instinct that it's very simple in itself. So why would you complicate that?
Well, here's the
We're
thing.
talking about video games again.
Again,
What fear is there in video games? Like in Super Mario, there's no fear.
no, but I was talking
Bro,
about.
we were talking about horror games a little bit ago. How you gonna say there's no fear,
Because
man?
it was a segue. That's what radio does. We segued the end of segment 1 to segue into this
What you
segment
talking
2.
about?
It's called a tease, a radio tease.
But to return to Paul's
Is
point,
it, the guy graduates and all of a
I just
sudden he's
wanted to
fucking
mention-
sermonizing us.
Well, movies, because I mean, like, I look at Transformers and I'm like, oh man, I really need a Bud Light now. Like, it's the exact commercial, like, attempt. So, where's the difference in that? It has
Well-
to do with his, like, involvement and his experience with gaming, how he thinks it's just a pure, like,
Well, going with what you're saying right now, when you see so much product placement, it detracts so much from the experience of seeing the movie that you basically walk away that you've basically seen this 2-hour commercial.
right, for sure.
As opposed to being immersive into an actual world.
Right,
And-
but that's when the movie brings in exterior elements that are advertising to you, whereas games themselves are just advertising themselves and what the gameplay experience would be. You know, like Mario is advertising Mario. He's not
Right.
advertising Nike. And I like Sonic, who actually advertised soap shoes. That's a real story. So, you know, like, it's just Roger Ebert. I think he needed to play more games, and maybe he would have seen where we're coming from.
Well, here's the thing, and here it's an interesting idea that was presented to me earlier, was that so many elements artistically are brought into the construction of a video game. You've got the storyboard artists, you've got the graphic designers, and what they're doing individually can be construed as pieces of art, even though it's for a commercial product. What sells the video games? It's not just the gameplay.
for sure.
It's
sure.
the visuals.
Right.
But
It's
it's
the-
usually to support the world that the game invites. I guess I
And
hear what
depending
you're
on the
saying.
creativity of the storyboard artists and such, there are little Easter eggs that are thrown in, or some artistic flourishes or touches that the viewer may spot or may not, and it may infer into their experience in some way. Now,
Question.
yeah,
How does that differ from, say, Peyton Place?
do you have that soundbite about the balloon deflating the room again and killing the argument? What do you mean about Peyton Place?
Hey, the same thing can be said. It's a commercial product. It's all the same structure. It's all the same elements. Hey, it's just another creative endeavor.
Look, let me put it this way.
Yeah, it could
The
be
moment
as well.
any artist
Sells
puts
out.
a work of art to be purchased, it's a product.
And it's not art anymore?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't finish this point.
Anytime an artist puts their work out there for consumption, whether it's for the masses or a single individual, it becomes a product. That does not negate its value as an artistic piece of work, though, in my opinion.
Right. Sometimes the corporation's, handling of the IP may fluctuate that, but
We're not even
Yeah, I
talking
know,
about,
but
we're
I
just
agree.
talking about,
100%.
okay, that's why the whole term about selling out is a pet peeve of mine. Because the moment you put anything out there, no matter how high end or low end, you're selling out.
Exactly.
The only way you do not sell out is if you create a piece of art for its own sake and you don't give it to the world.
Right.
Or you do give it to the world without an expectation of profit.
Yeah, the only way you get to a second piece is by selling the first piece.
Bingo. Bingo. But it does not negate the value of the piece of work as an art, especially to the person who's perceiving it.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that sentiment as well. It becomes, but the thing about selling out is when people say someone sells out, it's because they aren't exhibiting the features of the thing that they found it interesting to begin with, and may have subverted it. Maybe like, okay, well, we're not going to do an encore because it's not worth it to us, and the fans are asking for it. And we're not going to get paid for it, so we're not going to bother. Some people would assume that kind of attitude towards the audience is what selling out is, not just putting out the thing out there and then you can't put music out there, you're selling out. No, anything becomes basically a product, like you're saying. I'm just saying there are some attitudes of these creators that they don't really respect that relationship with the
Okay, but
the
aren't you
audience.
like refining the definition of selling out?
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, that's what I would think selling out is as a term. But there's so many different, like, people use that word all the time.
Right.
With, like, interchangeable.
Well, look, I know we're going. My comment now is going to go off topic. Okay.
You're allowed.
I know, my hair looks...
Because we're talking primarily about video games, but this segues into everything else.
yeah.
Okay, when you have a band who decides to go ahead and try a different genre, okay,
That's not selling out, by the way.
people thought at the time, way back when you were like in two parts and two separate beings,
For sure. I remember.
the Bee Gees, Rod Stewart, Barbara Streisand,
The Ramones.
all of them selling out to the temple that was disco.
Okay.
Okay, Cher, same thing. And these are people that were known for previous sorts of music, but they jumped in. Why? Because it was profitable at the
Right.
time.
Well,
But
also
that
it's
didn't
all-
negate the fact that some of them stretched their artistic boundaries and actually produced some pretty good stuff.
Right, right.
But they were still vilified for being sellouts. The only ones that probably weren't was Kiss, because it was already considered a product placement band anyway by that point.
I mean, but
Kiss got away with everything. Freaking Christmas. Okay?
Okay.
Freaking Christmas. Card game. Comic book, which is freaking awesome. You take that shit back.
Coffin.
Also,
My favorite's the coffin.
Also, they since I'm like one of the few wrestling guys here, there was a wrestler named the Demon that
Yes.
was in Kiss paint in WCW,
oh,
I remember.
and Kiss allowed them to do that so it would be more marketing for Kiss.
Of course.
They were the only
Hey,
also
Gene
rock
is
band
a-
that did disco.
Gene is a business genius.
Yeah.
but
But the point that I'm making here, okay, is that they, on one argument, you could say they stretched their artistic boundaries. Other, you can say they sold out for the quick buck. So where's the medium?
I say that the best way to avoid that exact scenario is you do what James Maynard Keenan did, who's a lead singer of Tool and a whole bunch of other bands. You basically, when you're gonna do a new sound, and get away, because I know you hate Tool, but it's an example. But if you're gonna do a new sound, what's the worst idea of just having a different band name for that sound? You can even have the same members. It's just you're starting a new fan base with that sound and not trying to force people to convert to this new sound. You know what I mean? You can build your fan base, and if people from the old fan base like it, they'll migrate over. But you're not like saying, okay, we're not going to do.
But
any
is it
more of
really
this band
forcing it?
anymore.
Right.
They're not forcing
You know,
it.
music is
No, they're
is
not.
a
The people think that for some reason. So
But
music
then,
as
again,
a genre. It has certain rules that apply only to it. Okay, when you have a band that's doing the same thing over and over again, you're either gonna get them trying something new and getting the criticism of them
you get
selling out,
bored.
or yes, all their songs sound just alike. Oh my
right, you don't
god,
wanna
they're
be
so
a
boring.
fake. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I
But
mean, going back to the Tool reference, what was the name of that song, Hooker with a Penis? That he was,
Hey, Maynard's Dick is a great song.
that he was talking, no, he was talking about how, like, a fan told him that he was selling out, and he, like, went off on this fan, and, like, this whole, it was like a 3, 4, or 5 minute song about him talking shit to the fan.
He had a fit.
Saying that he sold out long before the fan even knew him, and he sold out to make a freaking record so everyone could freaking buy it, so shut up and buy my record. He literally said that in the song.
He's an interesting.
So for me, the term sellout is really a non-term.
I only call people who are sellouts people who actively hate their fan base, which is the weirdest thing, but it does exist.
Yeah, it does.
So, like,
To quote another wrestler, he once said, I didn't sell out. I bought in.
It's a pretty good retort.
Good one.
It's easy to say when you get that check in your hand.
But as far as video games are concerned, yes, they are a form of art. Yes, they may have a specific objective in mind. And yes, it may not, for some people, evoke the same type of emotional response as you would looking at a painting or reading a novel or such.
Some
But
people hate books. You know, it's the same kind of medium thing. Like, it's a matter of you liking the medium.
But at the end of the day, there's a lot of creativity that goes into these games. There's a lot of creativity that goes into the construction of the alternate storylines that take place based on the decisions that you make. There's a lot of think tanking going on behind the scenes. I'm not a player, and even I know that. So at the end of the day, it's really short-sighted to say that there's really no artistic merit to video games.
Exactly. And also, Sonic the Hedgehog is a total sellout. Throwing that out there in general.
Oh man.
It's true. I mean, I'll
He's a
give you
marketing
evidence.
machine. I know someone in his like mid-20s who dresses up as Sonic in public, so we won't.
Live and learn, okay?
Let's not talk about
Song, man.
that guy. I know who you're talking about. Let's not
About
talk about
Sonic.
Anyway,
Open your heart, okay? That's what you need to do. No one here listens to any of the Sonic games, so like the making references, no one's gonna get.
Yes.
So,
maybe
So quit it.
all of our 10 listeners would.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast. Can I do that?
Yeah, everyone knows
that-
that one.
yeah, everyone knows that. Well, they did that in a commercial, so everyone knows that one.
Selling out.
So I have a question for Julio and Jim.
Uh-oh.
How do you feel about George?
I'll leave the room.
We're firing Adrian and we're replacing him with George. That's it. It's over.
My plan.
New
worked.
show, the 3 J's. No A's allowed.
We call this show the 4J.
When will you guys get a show together, huh?
Right now.
Without me.
Hey.
I'm the only one that
Oh, like
gets
we can get rid of you.
I hear spankbang.com is available.
Hey, I mean, we tried. You got lost once, and
Adrian, we're not trying to get rid of you. Your body's doing that for us.
oh my god!
Wow.
Oh, sounds brutal.
This sounds like a legitimate radio show. I mean,
Sir, the braking thrusters have fired.
thank you, George.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me as always. I'm just appreciative. To
I
be
think he
able
meant
to
George
talk.
Takei because he
Yes.
did a George Takei voice.
No,
Nobody thanks
sorry.
you,
Thank
George.
you. No,
Yeah.
I'm George Takei. Thank you. Oh my, I know. Okay.
Oh wait, are we having a George Takei off?
Ooh.
This is like a weird thing.
George
Okay.
Takei away.
That would be inadvisable.
Oh my, I don't think so, Captain.
Oh my.
I couldn't find the bathroom, Captain.
I have the weirdest erection right now.
You should get that checked.
I should.
Then you better give it all she's got because she cannot hold it together.
Julio.
I'm sorry.
No.
Adrio.
Real quick, I want to ask, how do you guys feel about the casting in the newer Star Trek movies, and Beyond and all that? The new.
I thought it
crew
was,
and all that? Because
brilliant.
Some of them are okay. I like them a lot, and some of them I don't. It's really hit or miss. I kind of like a good majority of them.
Yes.
Like
The main characters, I thought they got them spot on.
Yeah.
Hey, you know.
Would you say Spock on?
I was
Adrian,
trying
get out
not
of
to.
You took
Why,
the high
Adrian?
road. We're
Why?
both gonna go there.
But yeah, I thought, for instance, what's this guy that one who plays the new Spock? Hey,
Zachary Quinto.
brilliant casting.
Did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it. Like, I would never expect that, I guess, for someone to do such a good Leonard Nimoy kind of
Yeah, that was it. I mean,
impression.
and before that decision was made, in my mind, you know, you're not going to replace Leonard Nimoy, right? But they did, and damn well.
Yeah, I think I only had I really like Simon Pegg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He's funny in almost anything he's in as well.
Yeah.
And Kirk, he's pretty all right for being Captain Kirk, but I don't know, something about him. He doesn't.
He's
have
not
the same-
speaking in stop enough.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
No,
Doesn't have
he's not speaking in. Stop it now.
I wonder what his inflection should be. I wish it was better. That was Ace Ventura.
The cast is spot on, all across the board.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
because he's got that swarthiness that really is what matters with Captain Kirk. Hey, and
very important, he slept with a green girl.
yeah,
A green
exactly.
alien.
I mean,
You
come
were
on.
about to say the actual statement. When you're about to go Eddie Murphy out on that.
Which we can.
Can't get me sleeping all day in green beaches.
Wait, in that movie, didn't he wake
Hey
up
man,
with two?
I'm not raw
Hey.
enough.
Didn't he wake up with two? Like he woke up and then one got up and then the camera panned back
Right.
and the second one came up?
Yes.
That pun was so bad it made me delirious, bro.
Hey. I don't wanna.
Now we return with Adrian Miquez.
Whoa, that was timed perfectly.
We'll fix it in post. Cut in post. All right, so
We don't want to talk anymore. We talked enough on the break. I think we should just.
Yeah, that's it. We're going home.
I hate you, man. Like all of that could have been good for a show.
Okay, so just
say it's
to
not.
reiterate for everyone really quick, I brought up a point that I saw a picture or a trailer, I forget what it was, if it was a poster or something, of Iron Fist. And the mask that I know that Iron Fist wears was reversed in this picture. Like it was covering his top of his nose to like the bottom of his chin as opposed to the bottom of his eyes to the top of his head. I know that the other one, the real one, doesn't make sense, but it's still not that. And then they were saying like, oh yeah, that's something that's like common in these shows. And I'm like, what? Like Batman not wearing the cowl until the last episode? And they're like, yeah, it's Gotham. So I'm like, what? I thought he was just a kid. So they had him grow up.
Yeah, they had like a weird
that
time
was-
skip. It became an anime.
That was years ago.
No.
Bruce.
So you finally returned. Trained, have you? I have, with the Lotus Clan. And then because Batman Begins. I mean, like, I would actually like to see Batman Beyond, though, because Terry wasn't very
Oh, yeah.
old. Like, he was... How old is Terry?
He was a high schooler.
No. He
He
was.
do.
Yeah, he was a college kid. Yeah.
Oh, I
Was
thought
it
it was
college?
like
Yeah.
it was just a complete.
Oh
knockoff
no,
of
that's
Spider-Man.
not true. It started off with him in the senior
that's
year.
the
Yeah,
first
that's
one.
right. That's right.
Yeah. It's a
Unless
Spider-Man
Michael
ripoff.
Keaton is Bruce Wayne, I'm not interested.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right? We
that's
talked
important.
about that before, how that would be freaking awesome. But, like,
Have you seen Michael Keaton lately? I don't think so.
wasn't he...
He played the
Bruce-
Vulture.
For an old Bruce Wayne, he would be great.
Oh, he was great.
He was
Don't get me
the
wrong.
best as the
I still
Vulture.
love him.
Yeah.
Hey.
He likes playing weird avians. He was the Birdman,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vulture, Batman. He has a problem with
He
flying.
has an affinity with the air.
With flight.
Yes.
Yes.
He's a wind type.
He's a flighty personality.
He's a flying type. Let's Pokemon this up.
So, do you mind if I take back my
No,
show?
no.
All right.
No show for you.
I'm just gonna run the front desk while doing the show at the same time. You can't stop me. All right.
Wow.
Silent and deafening. Please, someone take this.
See, it's not so easy being a host, is it?
Not green.
No, it is not. So we're gonna talk a little bit about
Adrian.
No, we're gonna talk about original programming. This
you
is something Jim wanted to talk about. He wanted to talk about how Netflix is better than everybody else. So go on.
Actually, like, the point was that if I have only had opportunity to watch Netflix, all right, but all this new competition now is in place. All right, everybody, of course, Netflix made money, so everybody else has got to try their hand at it. All right, so I wanted to ask you guys who have had the chance to see Hulu and all this other stuff coming out. All right, how does it compare to Netflix? Because from what I can tell, Netflix is doing it right.
I mean, did you see Bright?
Yes, I did.
I like Bright.
Yes.
Real.
Again, I don't expect a new new level standard to be set by Will Smith.
We're not watching Lord of the Rings, bro.
It was just. Don't even try and compare that to Lord of the Rings. It did not.
Yeah,
handle
Bright
its
was
lore
better.
very well. It didn't handle its lore at all. It just like ran around with its plot and the MacGuffin one.
Right. But Lord of the Rings is 3 movies about people walking.
About a bunch of midgets
Yeah, but
walking.
you know what? The walking had character. You know what Bright didn't have? Anything!
It had character.
It was pretty
No,
bright.
It did not.
Dude, he beat up a fairy on his front lawn.
And said fairy lives matter.
Yeah, and followed it up with that. Great.
Which is called comedy.
It's
Yes.
not comedy. It's very.
It's
toned down.
comedy, even if you don't laugh. That makes someone else laugh. Therefore, comedy's subjective.
Pretty sure
That's
a lot
how
of
comedy works, my friend.
Right.
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 Many people don't consider you funny, but I keep you on the show anyway.
Well, the same with you, but
Yeah.
you know, we try and make.
Wow.
Adrian's trying to
Really?
brighten up your
Wow.
You're fired as co-host.
Shortest career on radio.
I'm both new and gone. Woo!
New world record there.
I'll just shit can you and hire Charles Schultz.
My problem with Bright is just they kept on starting
You got a shovel?
story arcs and they never finished any of them and had character development that never really went anywhere. You could tell there was 4 scripts that were supposed to be fighting each other for the goal. And it's,
Funny enough, the director of that also directed Suicide Squad, so there you go.
oh, you
Nah.
can see why I'm
I see a trend there.
Yeah, he has a lot
Yeah,
of
he was
fighting
getting jiggy
scripts.
with it.
Dude, okay, really quick. I'm so sorry. Someone mentioned that apparently Will Smith is like he's making a new rap song, and they're like, oh, he's jumping into the rap game, and I'm like, are you for real? Are you for real? Out of everyone. Okay.
How old was said individual?
I just.
How old was said individual?
It was the internet, so not very.
All right, so we're gonna start from 1J all the way to a P. How do you feel about Netflix's programming compared to Hulu, Amazon, and I think that's it. Hulu, Amazon, yeah.
HBO.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, HBO,
Yeah,
new
HBO,
streaming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel compared to, like, if you had to choose, who do you definitely need?
TV shows are hit or miss, and every single movie that I want to watch on Netflix is never there. So I'm actually considering getting rid of it because I'm like, what the hell? But anyway.
Well, you can blame Netflix's original programming for that.
That might be it then.
Because once it started producing its own films and its own original content and its own shows, it went from being distributor to competitor. So all the other companies started pulling their content out because why are they going to give the money to the competition rather
to host
than
their things.
Rather than
Distribute
reinvesting in themselves.
bingo?
It's half of the reason why Marvel and DC, they're doing their own thing too. They're not going to put their stuff on Netflix anymore, I don't think. So that way they can do that.
But to continue on the point, I still feel like I'd stick to Netflix. I mean, yeah, it has a whole bunch of its own programming. Now it's coming out with a new version of The Haunting movie, like the 3rd one. But Hulu has a lot of cool stuff, but I have to pay extra to get the cool stuff, and I have to pay extra to not get commercials on it, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's called extortion.
HBO
Yeah.
Go is kind of freaking expensive.
It's $15 a month.
Amazon Prime, I have to freaking get Amazon to freaking I have to get Amazon Prime, which is $100. I mean,
You don't want Star Trek
Comparatively
Discovery?
speaking, it's
That's
really freaking
CBS,
cheap.
bro.
Comparatively speaking, it's really cheap, but it's
CBS
not worth
All
it.
Access, thank you.
So it's
Which
just
is
not
going to
worth
have
it.
more Star Trek. It's just basically going to become Trek All Access.
But I mean, now
Works
Netflix
for
is
me.
losing a lot of things. Like, it's going to lose a lot of its Disney stuff. Maybe there's going to be like another competitor that tops them at some point. But for now, Netflix is really where it's at. It's stupid cheap. It's like $11 and you get it 4K and all this other stuff. Like,
I tell you one thing that I really like about their original programming is that I'm an anime fan. Hey, and they brought back a lot of anime series that were only ran for one season.
Talking about Devilman?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, I'm with you on that one. I like Devilman.
Hey,
It's good.
you know, and they're reviving them and bringing them back, and we're seeing more of it. And I enjoy it.
wait, are we talking about anime right now?
Yeah.
You're talking about Baby Cry?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. I read Devilman when I was 9 years old. It's actually one of the first mangas I ever read. I'm really hype about Knights of the Zodiac, like freaking Saint Seiya's coming out, like the original one. They're bringing it back,
Right.
But they're bringing back something really important to my childhood, even with all its weird freaking art. Baki the fucking Grappler. I'm really freaking happy about that. Yeah, it's a martial arts anime from like the 80s.
Paul and I just tuned out.
All of them look really bad.
No, we won't have to stay on the topic. Don't worry. But I was just saying, we're talking about anime and Netflix. I just wanted to say,
Part of it.
if we're gonna do that, I'm surprised no one brought up Death Note.
Hey,
And how
That was
Well-
isn't that freaking terrible?
yes.
pretty.
Every
There's
time
a
it's like,
reason
hey,
why I didn't bring it
we're
up.
gonna make a live action anime. No, please, just don't do this to my childhood.
Don't you want
Not
all
anymore.
this teen angst in your show?
No.
Don't you want more?
I mean, come on.
That
What
guy's
about-
supposed to be a sociopath. He's not supposed to have feelings. Like, it's
No.
like, why the fuck would you make
No,
this?
it's
What
hyper
about
emotional.
Castlevania the anime?
I've actually heard it's all right. I don't
Yeah,
know.
actually, I
All
enjoyed the hell
right,
out
dude,
of
that
it.
thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was
I don't know.
crazy ass art. Like, I was like orgasming just looking at the art.
Okay,
And I think
alright.
I might have had like some sort of aneurysm.
Does it follow Rondo of Blood and then Symphony of the Night, or is it like behind that a bit? Because I know it talks about Dracula and his girlfriend that dies and she's a human and he gets all.
Yeah, I think it's all post.
Yeah.
That's that area. That's like right before.
Yeah, I
Rondo
think
of Blood.
I think it's gonna be after Rondo the next.
Right.
The next.
Because then we
Yeah,
get
because
into
it's like
Symphony and that'd
it's
be
eight.
fun.
It's like 8 episodes in this next season coming up.
Hey man, Castlevania's a good series. I don't need you guys scoffing. All right.
Nothing.
Did you play freaking video games, kid?
Do you even play games, bro?
Do you even game, bro?
All right.
Do you even
So,
Game Boy?
can we get Paul involved into this show again?
Wait, but
because
it's your turn.
What do you think
he's gonna
about
fall off his
Netflix?
chair.
What do you think about
El
Death Note?
viejito está durmiendo.
Titanic sinking.
Don't worry, there's room on the door.
That's right. There's room on the door. but they won't
According
give
to
you-
Roser.
Not according to my waistline.
It's a big door.
So your thoughts on the topic?
What was the topic?
Netflix.
Netflix programming versus the rest. Who do you side with? Netflix, Hulu, Amazon?
He's gonna pay for Showtime, isn't he?
I don't see any one channel to be able to give you.
Dominate.
Nothing
Yeah,
tops Crunchyroll. Gotcha.
But right now, Netflix seems to be dominating as far as the internet streaming sites. HBO's tough to beat right now with its programming.
Ballers season
So-
3 just started, I think, too. So I'm happy about that.
Despite that, HBO seems to be.
which channel had Dexter? Was it Showtime? Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
God, I love that show.
It was so good up until a certain season, and I was like, okay, all right, I don't know where you guys are going.
Wait,
okay, that's fine.
aren't they bringing that back?
Yeah.
They say
Are
they're
they?
bringing Dexter back or something like that.
Yeah, I heard talk
And they're
about
bringing
it.
everything back.
Yeah, they can't bring anything.
What was the
Because
latest
there's
one?
no new ideas.
What was the
Yep.
latest one that I showed you, Adrian, the other day that they were rebooting, and you were like,
Facts of Life.
no, designing women.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
They're rebooting designing women.
God, why?
You're gonna redesign
what's-
women?
what's
I
that
The
don't
about?
only
know.
way
Pretty
that's
well
gonna
designed.
work is if you exhume Michonne Taylor from around.
Wait, what's that about?
Inform us. Inform
Thank
us.
you.
What is that even about?
4 women who are all designers of clothes. And it's filmed in a Friends style with a multicam, I think it's called.
Yes.
Multicam situational comedy. Emphasis on situational, lack of emphasis on the comedy.
So it's like women, sort of. Well, it's not.
It's a
even,
Golden Girls without the charm.
Is this like filmed in front of a live audience?
Yes.
laugh track, baby.
Oh, is there a laugh track?
Yes.
Is it every
Yo,
2
it's-
seconds? Like,
Yeah.
Wait, can you play a laugh track right now?
Can we use one?
I will never, ever, ever fucking use a laugh track.
Then how do you hear laughter for all those jokes that you hit?
stop doing this. Just leave it here.
Note
And
to
then,
Wow,
self:
really?
load iPhone with laugh track. Place at inopportune moments during broadcast.
bro,
And sex.
Send.
Wait, doesn't that feel like a Marvel movie though? Hey, someone died.
I don't know, but I'll make my.
Oh, we're not gonna
ringtone.
get into an MCU argument.
Bro, I
again.
get so salty about it. It's like, hey, someone died. This is a deep death. Oh, let's play it off by making some pointless joke for no freaking reason. Because
It's a twist.
A twist of the
I'm
knife.
so angry.
We're talking about a tradition
It makes me angry.
that goes way back to Sean Connery saying shocking at the teaser for Goldfinger. Really? You're going to be upset about it how many decades after the fact?
Let it die with Connery's career.
Well, Connery just quit. You know, he retired.
I know.
But
After the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
which is not that bad of a movie. It is not that bad of a movie. Damn it!
I don't remember it, to be honest.
I sat through Batman versus Superman. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is a damn Oscar winner compared to
so
that
you're
shit.
gonna condemn that movie? You're gonna condemn.
I concede the point.
Yeah,
I cannot argue it.
Yeah, I can't argue
I
that.
have.
You said, "Oh no, it's got problems," but
It's got problems, Many of them.
Yeah, there's no but though at the end of that.
Adrian
It's
freaking loved Batman vs Superman director's cut.
Dude, you didn't remember that time where he was doing all those Lex Luthor impressions? Like he was obsessed.
Dude,
Nah. Listen, I think
Tell
any
the
movie,
truth.
Tell the truth.
any movie when you take well-established characters like
we
that
go.
and bring them all together like that, there's only so much you can do with this. It can only go so far. I find it a guilty pleasure.
wait,
can
what?
reboot.
Batman vs Superman?
No, I'm talking about.
I was about to say like, there's so much content and they got it wrong.
No.
How could they do this to me?
Talking about Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen, okay?
Oh yeah, no, I don't know anything about the lore on that one. But like, you can bring stuff back and do something interesting with it. We don't hate that. It's just, you know.
It's just too many
maybe some
elements,
new ideas.
is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
all right? And Leave Extraordinary.
Can you say there's too many cooks
exactly?
in this sort of situation?
The League of
And
Extraordinary
too many cooks
Gentlemen
will spoil the broth.
was a movie
I know. I do
that
know
made Sean Connery go, I could be golfing. Every 10 minutes of that production. I could be golfing. Fuck this, I'm going golfing.
Didn't he bail out on all the Highlander sequels too? Like, cause he was dead. But I mean, like, he didn't need to be.
He did the second one and then he bailed.
Okay.
'Cause he knew better.
He should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a good move.
Every time I think about Highlander now, I think about that stupid clip I used to spam Adrian with.
I think that's the source you referenced? No.
Yeah, it was like it was a Highlander anime.
Oh, the
Oh,
the
the anime.
animation.
Oh my God.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, even I gave up on that shit.
Yo, it
I'm
was-
ashamed
no,
to
it
say
was like
that I
an anime
still
movie.
own a copy
Oh wait, really? Of the animation?
of the anime. Yes, not the children's series
Okay, 'cause that's what I'm-
came out. No,
Wait,
I'm
there's
talking
an
about- I'm
anime?
talking
there were 2 animes.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, because I'm
What's
talking about the
second
anime movie that looks super awesome.
Right.
It was probably terrible.
It looked super awesome.
Oh, so like the X-Men
Being
anime?
The emphasis.
Oh, you mean the Wolverine one?
No, there's an X-Men anime.
Oh, okay. Not at the same time.
Yo,
as
like it was
Blade
like
and Iron Man?
all the like female
Or-
characters had ridiculous 80s proportions, so it was just like
Or Batman Ninja.
Oh my
I
God.
like
I still haven't seen
Batman Ninja.
I knew I was going to do that.
Hey,
Was it bad? Oh, don't tell me. Was it
Come
bad?
on.
It's
It's good.
Mushin
It's good.
look, I found it.
looks
Yes, I found it entertaining, but there's no way that was Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes against everyone.
It wasn't Batman, it was Ninja
Excuse
Batman.
you. Did he kill? Because he didn't.
No, right, but did he elicit outside help every opportunity that he could? Is that
Have
Batman?
you read a
No.
Batman comic?
You know, this brings up
That's,
What?
that's literally every time with the Bat Family.
Bad fan.
okay, so this brings up a really good point that Adrian brought
I'm
up.
gonna
Hey,
jump up
no,
this board
wait,
and
no, wait, hold on. I just got attacked. Let me retaliate.
I have to
Hey,
Is this a Mexican
Hey,
standoff? Like,
hey,
you're like,
I have to do it.
Whoa.
Put it down.
Put the shit down.
Put it down.
My gun's bigger than yours. Okay.
CanonFire, brought to you by Quentin Tarantino.
The
Stop
picture-
pointing that gun at my dad.
picture that comes along with it. We're all like looking down inside a trunk.
If Batman is a ninja and he's supposed to be a killer and he doesn't kill, does that make him a worse ninja than Naruto who's wearing orange?
Yes.
Well, no,
Batman is the
Naruto, you
worst
know-
ninja of all time.
I will bring my point to head with one statement. Okay. A robot made of monkeys.
It's an anime. I mean, what do you expect?
It's a weird
I had nothing to do with Batman.
Japanese
though, man.
twist
Yeah,
on.
That's fine. It was funny. I enjoyed it. But it had nothing to
Monkeys
do with
forms
Batman.
a Batman robot.
Right.
This is what happens when the Japanese are.
What does the Wild West have to do with spiders?
I haven't seen this movie, so I'm like, what?
Well, I'll go over to your house and we'll watch it. I'll bring it over.
Okay. I'm just thinking because I heard somewhere that this is like my impression of the movie was that this is Batman in Japan. He's from Japan, and this is like a new Batman.
No.
But apparently, this Batman
No.
got inserted into
Yes.
this universe.
It's a
Right.
feudal Japan setting. He was timed to.
And-
no, stop time displacing Batman. You don't need to do that.
Hey, the original one, Batman Through Time,
Tell
was
that
pretty
to
cool.
Grant Morrison.
Batman Through Time was a pretty cool comic run.
Well,
the
is it
mini.
the first time he did that?
Yeah, the
Don't
one that
you
he,
dare, Paul.
the one that he got
I
Omega
just
beamed, but he
did.
didn't
Don't
die. He
you-
went back through time.
That gauntlet throne.
That one was cool. That's fine, but it's not like okay. Let's start the story.
I fucking
And
love Grant
Wolverine
Morrison.
in feudal Japan was pretty cool too.
Except I did not.
I'd like to
Final Fight.
apologize to all of our
Well,
listeners.
then you'll love the
and
fact that he's
remind
turning
everyone
the
that
Green
Paul
Lantern
started
power
this
ring
shit.
into a magic lamp.
I'm fine with that. It's willpower and all
Adrian
that.
likes magic lamps.
Jergens.
Because he likes the rubbing, baby.
You know, at Amityville, I think.
But
Come on, baby, light my fire.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
But But with Jurgens writing Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Hal literally manifested a power battery out of his sheer will.
The Ring himself.
Dude,
And the ring himself.
this whole
Itself,
sheer will
not
thing
himself.
is so.
I'm very interested in Grant Morrison's writing Green Lantern. I'm very interested.
The power scaling for Lantern rings is as freaking like dumb as a power scaling for the Hulk.
Well, it's just will. Do you want it? Do you want it
No, it's
better?
no,
How
it's
much do
like
you want it?
what was it? The freaking Red Lanterns run when
What, Supergirl?
when Guy became a freaking Red Lantern and he got so angry that he manifested 10 Red Lantern rings, one for each freaking finger, and he freaking Ghost Rider laughed the crap out of Atrocitus.
Yeah,
That was a thing.
that's
Ghost
jumping
Rider?
the shark.
He, like Ghost Rider.
You know how he has like the whole chain thing? He's something like some
okay.
freaking vomit red chain thing because you don't have the thing with vomit.
Yeah.
And he like lashed Atrocitus.
I played Injustice 2 as well.
That was my statement right there.
Oh, we're finally back on topic.
Video game.
No, we're not. That was like last segment's topic, man. We're talking about streaming services.
Yeah, we got off of
He
that
doesn't
quick.
need a vomit chain. He just needs to turn his cat to a chain and just be like, Kidding people with it.
Hey, Daxtar's pretty badass. That's like,
Leave Daxtar
Daxtar's
alone.
pretty badass.
He's literally one of the best special attacks in Injustice 2.
Yes.
So whatever. I'm fine with it.
Paul suffering.
Paul could be playing golf.
I can be good off right now.
I hate golf.
So Mario Golf.
I might try golf
Really?
today. Yeah, I might try it.
How?
I was gonna go to Top Golf, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Puppet golf?
Top Golf. Yeah, they have like a weird thing.
Well, I think we're gonna call it a show.
Yeah,
We're a little
loosely,
over time.
Why? What were we calling it before?
Yeah.
It's time to play some Mario Tennis.
I'd be down for tennis.
What?
Well, Switch doesn't have Mario Golf yet. Anyway, so first and foremost, I would like to say thanks, Paul, for coming in.
You're very welcome.
I hope we haven't bored
take
you
the
so
gun
that
off
you'll
my
come
back
back
now?
sometime.
Can you take the gun out of my back now?
There's no.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's not a
I
gun.
played nice already.
Oh, it's not a gun. Don't worry. You're good. I'm just happy to see you. It's fine.
George, could you not flirt with every one of my guests?
I try, man, but just it happens around me. I don't even do it myself.
He likes big burly men.
Boom, shakalaka, laka, boom.
Anyway, thanks for having me too.
Phrasing.
Someone passed the drying cloth.
Wait, that's
Strange
I know
Wilderness.
that.
Strange
Yeah, that's Strange Wilderness. What the hell? That's the shark.
He's looking at things, T.
Like, wait, what? I know this.
All right, Jim, Julio, it has been an absolute joy to have you in studio.
Been fun like always.
How does it feel to be like with real stuff?
Who let the lolly in here?
He'll do voices and shit.
JJ, you guys were dynamite.
God damn it. So, again, Julio, Jim, how does it feel to use actual equipment for a shitty show?
That you mean that work?
Yeah.
Hey, we're using working equipment. Must not be with 24/7, man.
Oh, you went there.
Oh, awesome. Editing for us later. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
It's all right. Nobody listens to this
Hey,
show.
Adrian, edit this part out.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
If you feel guilt, edit this part.
Or add it to the highlight reel. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, George, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having Bone King. And I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, they found out you were with us instead of the front desk. You're fired.
Oh no! Figured out my plan.
All right.
The
Thanks
real
again,
reason you
folks.
joined
Thank you,
CanonFire.
Paul. AmericanCultureCritic.com or org?
Calm.
I always thought it was
It's soon
org.
going to be an organization.
Yeah, are you hiring? Need a job.
Why? Do you got people to recommend?
I can't believe you do this to me on my own show.
You don't know me very well, do you?
What is this fucking voices going on?
I don't know.
Save me, Maria.
Back yourself into this.
You're literally closest to the door. What
I'm
are
out.
you doing?
Take care, folks. See you.
She's
See
blocking
you
the door.
next
It's already-
time.
Fan freaks, take it easy.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Donkey Kong.